What? What? Woo! Old girl's looking fresh. Trying to start getting this thing cleaned up for the zip tie drags because this is what we're going to be taking. We're going to get into that. And if you're here to see the dash install, go ahead and skip ahead. We're going to go over some stuff on the channel and kind of new happening things for me if you're not into that. Yeah, go ahead and skip ahead. What is up, everybody? We're here in the shop and I have crazy ass hair. There's actually some pretty cool news we're going to hit you with at the beginning of this video. Katie and I kind of announced it to the world. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, friends on Facebook, whatever, we are currently pregnant. So looking forward to having a baby ham coming soon in July of 2020. So that's kind of what I want to start this video off with. It's going to be like a possibly beginning of the year video. I don't know when this is dropping, but I'm so grateful, so thankful for all of that is encompassed in that, and I'm so excited. So I just want to let you guys know, I know we're kind of a community here. So today we're going to be working on Katie's dash for her Nova. At this point, I'm pretty sure it's her Nova. I'm not sure. For those of you that know me, I've been driving that car quite a bit. It is just like really good. It drives really good down the freeway. It sounds good. It hauls ass for what it is. It feels great, you know, and it's like kind of like a really good car that I didn't even, it's doing what I want it to do, but I didn't even understand that I was gonna like it so much, if that makes sense. So anyways, kind of the way to go. Having a hot rod like that is pretty fun. And now that it's together, we can do kind of fun upgrades along the way, which is what my plan was. And so I have some parts that have been rat holed, and we're gonna get to them right now. So I'm gonna flip this camera around and show you what we're getting into. All right, so you probably saw in the thumbnail that we're gonna be messing with the dash, the cluster. And I don't have this 100% planned out, but I do know that this is a lot cheaper than the Dakota Digital. I'm not hating on it. I would absolutely love to have the Dakota Digital stuff. It's super badass, but it just wasn't in the budget, and this is what I'm gonna do. This is the dash that just came out of the Nova. This little bezel, which goes up on here, and then this is the, I don't know, I guess this would be the bezel, but this is like pretty trashed. Hard to get it to focus there. But yeah, needs to be sanded down, painted, all that good stuff. And I went on to the forums on Facebook and I bought this cool SS dash. And it has the 4-gauge cluster. I got to get into that a little bit. But the main thing I really liked is this has the Shiftworks Tach already hooked up. So they like do like stock looking tachs that actually are aftermarket. So that was the main thing I really wanted. Sweet. So we stole some Q-tips from Katie and me. I jam these things in my ear all the time. Fuck yeah. We're gonna go ahead and kind of just clean up some of the gunk up in the corners on these things. I'm pretty lucky this thing looks like it's in pretty good shape. It kind of reminds me when you're trying to get back behind the ear. Got all those potatoes stuck up in there. So I think that helped. I don't know. Looks like we got a bunch of fuzzies and crap. Just some Scotch-Brite pad here. Some red scrubby action. Should get it down pretty good. So we got this piece of plastic cleaned up, or what do you want to call it? It looks pretty good. Honestly, this is the last thing, and I'm gonna kind of decide what I do with how it cleans up. The same thing that we do with the other one. So I'm gonna hit it with some Scotch-Brite lightly, some alcohol, some wipe, and then maybe even some of this emery cloth. See what happens. Let's go through it. Alright, so that's gonna do it for tonight. We're gonna come back tomorrow and get this thing put in the car. It's pretty late, so I'm gonna call it a night. I actually did go ahead and hit this metal piece just because it looked weird, you know, with the other side painted. So check it out. I'm gonna let it dry overnight, get that nice good clean cure, And then we should be ready to go back together tomorrow. This is already cured like really well, so looking pretty good. Oh man, had some breakfast, had some coffee. It is now you know, tomorrow or whatever, and we got this dash all cleaned up, and it actually cured really well. The paint looks really good. Let me flip around and show you. I'll bring it over here in some good light. We're looking pretty fresh, man. I'm a big fan of this. So the oil pressure is mechanical, so that might be something worth getting into. And then the fuel gauge will just hook back up there at the top. You can see we have that connector. The other two connectors are electric. There's no wiring for them and in the car. And on top of that, the battery gauge is going to be in amps, not volts. So it's different. It doesn't really work that well for what we're doing, and I'd have to mess with it a whole bunch. And honestly, I don't care. I know it sounds bad, but if it's charging, it's charging. If I have an issue, I'll find it. I'm sure we're fine. Having oil pressure is going to already be a step up from most of the builds that I do, because usually if it has oil pressure, it has oil pressure, and I just roll with it until it gets loud, and then that's a problem. The main thing I really want here is the tach, and then eventually maybe the speedometer down the road. Like I was saying, they have the different kits so you can put the mechanical sensor into the tail shaft housing of the 60E, like it's like a 700R tail shaft housing, or you can get a converter, like the little boxes, like you can do all kinds of things. Again, I kind of don't even really care about the speedometer either. I know it sounds bad, but really I just wanted the look. And if you think about it, you just gotta change perspective. Like, does it all have to work? If you feel that need, maybe it does. But for me, I just want it to look a certain way. Then I wanted to have a cool tach. I wanted to have, I like knowing how much gas is in the car, because that one gets a little annoying. Anyway, let's go ahead and start getting this thing bolted back into the car, and then we're gonna wire it up. Looks like it's pretty easy. It's just a couple wires here. I have to double check that I have the wiring kind of somewhat accessible in the car for the tach. I think it's just one, you know, the one wire here is the green wire. So I think that's all we need. I can look it up, or I think it might have been marked. Maybe the harness was marked. Let's get over there. Let's just get over the car and check it out. All right, here we are. We're looking at a whole bunch of nothing here. So gotta pop out these lights and switch them out with the LEDs that we were talking about throwing in. Here's our fuel sending unit wiring, and then yeah, it'll be pretty easy. We'll run the wires for the tach back through there. Man, too simple. So we're all in there. We went key on, and the fuel gauge responded, which is rad. It's so bright out right now, like even though these are better, you can't tell with the lights pulled on. So we'll have to do a check later tonight to show you. But I took a towel and I kind of like put it over to see, to make sure that they're all working. It looks like they're working. I'm gonna double check. It looks like maybe I'm missing a bulb over here or something. But it looks good. Now I'll just try to wire up the Shiftworks Tach and see if we can get some RPMs going. All right, so we still have some pretty shitty wiring, but hey, it works. And I need to go through and fix it, but we're going to install the tach, right? So let's do it. Here it is. I just kind of have it wound up here, so I'm gonna pull it out and then start to run it through. I'd like to also get to moving this ECU because I wanna hook up the heater core, because the heater core actually, I think, is good in this thing, and I drive the shit out of the car, so it's getting pretty cold. It'd be nice to hook that up, but obviously the ECU's in the way, so I'm gonna have to figure something out with that. But for now, I just want to see if I can get this tach hooked up. And when I do actually move this, you know, it may even be today or something, I don't know, but I want to get a better idea of where I want to run these wires through. Maybe just poke a hole even somewhere here on the firewall and run a grommet, because I have quite a few wires going through there, and I can kind of go through and do it nice again and clean all this stuff up now that I know it works. Oh, and this fan relay. We'll clean that shit up too. Sweet. So we are off and running on this tangent of wiring. This is something I've been like kind of not avoiding, but just been waiting for the right time. I'm pretty decent at wiring and cleaning stuff up when I'm in like the right mindset, and I'm pretty chill today, so it's a good day for it. The ECU was over here, and I am going to be putting this grommet in to more permanently, but right now I just basically rammed a huge hole back there. The ECU is not huge, right? I mean, they're not small, but in these Novas, there's really no room. If you have one, if that's why you're here, you know it's not easy. So in thinking with a vet having it in the inner fender, although it is protected with like a rubber or plastic piece, what I did is I moved these mounts that I made around. They're just simple aluminum brackets that I made that bolt to the ECU itself. And then we're going to mount the ECU in kind of an odd spot, but it makes sense to me. You may or may not like it. Let me get you in here. Out of the grommet you can see. And then actually I'm going to be mounting it up here, which is the underside of the inner fender. And it will put it out of the way, so like it's kind of hard to see, like, you know what I mean? So it's up there, which is up here. And we do get the occasional like pretty crazy rain and stuff like that, but honestly, I just don't think it's that big of an issue. These ECUs were put in some crazy places on the stock cars they came with, and they're really robust. They take weather well, so that's where it's going. I just got to figure out my holes for it to mount the ECU, and then we'll start cleaning more with the wiring. And what that ultimately does is, number one, cleans up the bay, which is like, I just always pictured this car having like an insanely sick bay as far as like my skills and patience level. And then number two is it's gonna let us hook up our heater core, like I was saying. So, you know, I'll go get some hoses, and those are the hoses right there. So that's why the ECU is literally right in the way of them. So we should be able to do that. Just making this car better, you know, better and better as I own it. So, or as we own it, I don't know. It used to be Katie's. I think it is hers still. I don't know. All right, this is my headlamp. It's pretty dark. I'm in the carport, guys, so I haven't been videoing like super well as I'm going along, but this is also not like very like sexy video because I'm like jamming myself up underneath this fender. So there's really nothing super cool to video, unfortunately, but I wanted this to be low key, so you can see there's the two bolts. I'm just gonna come in there and dust them black. And then I'm just kind of trying to figure out the rest of the wire routing. I don't mind these being out in the open, so I mean, I'll try to maybe mount them up in here somewhere, kind of nice and clean, or maybe I'll even just honestly zip tie them up or something for now until I get more permanent. I don't mind just limping this along. Here's kind of the finished product of the ECU. Don't freak out, because I know some people may not like it, but it is up in there like that. And there's a decent amount of space for the tire and everything. Yeah, so I'm building a decent car, but don't forget, I'm not afraid to party. So ECU in the wheel well is a go. I think this is gonna clean it up pretty nice. I need to get in here. I drive the shit out of this. I guess I can't really say we, but I drive the shit out of this car. So there is a lot of, it's just dirty, you know, so overall pretty happy with where I'm getting to. There's definitely a lot more wire up to be getting clean. Now, here's the cool part. It is dark enough for me to show you the dash. I still haven't wired up this. We're slow going, so I'm gonna go dark here. And then I'm also gonna turn off the phone camera light, so hold on. Boom. That is sick. Very white, not too prominent. Really nice, really nice. The person who put these lights up on that Nova page, I can't remember. This was like a year or two ago that I bought these lights. He recommended them, and they are sick. They're perfect for this. Super pumped. All right, so it is kind of getting late, dark, and most of the way I got the ECU mounted. The cluster's in, as you saw, lit up, looking good. And I'm at the point where, like, if I keep going, I'm just gonna hack it together, and then I'm gonna have to come back and do it again. or if I just freaking stop, go in and eat dinner with Katie, hang out, and then tomorrow hop back on it, take my time, and get through it the right way. With this, what I'm doing, I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm definitely still all about making things work, but that's what I've been wanting to do for a really long time with this. Is I hacked it together one time, and even though it's fun to hack shit together, I'm getting a little older, and I like to think I'm getting smarter, and I'm not gonna repetitively hack things together. So I'll do it one time after the hack job. You know, I'm ranting, but it seems fair. I mean, it seems like you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about. So cut it off here, get back to it tomorrow. All right, so now that you are all caught up, here we are back today on Sunday. I've kind of gone through and cleaned up in here. One little James trick or tip that I'm gonna share is this was all pretty dirty if you could see in the other videos. This is just WD-40 on a rag and wipe it down. Works pretty well. All right, so we at least have a plan for this little relay and fuse panel. We're gonna cut a small piece of this angle, this aluminum angle that I have, sorry, about right there maybe. And we're gonna use it to mount to this tab here. And then we're just gonna kinda whoop, like that, just kinda nice and clean. And then we're gonna zip tie the relays to this guy, lever there, and I think that should be fine. Just kinda nice out of the way, and then we can start working on getting the wires inside the car and maybe cleaning up these power wires and stuff like that. So that's what we shall do. Hit this with the little bandsaw, DL port band, and then drill some holes. Should be easy. All right, simple little bracket. Got that thing in there. The zip ties aren't my first choice, but this these relays don't like hook onto this, so I just relay, you know, or zip tied them in. So one little like trick or tip, I don't know, I'm not like big on that. I always feel like it's like awkward to act like I have a tip or a trick. Usually I just quote James. But one thing I do that you might like, I get like these cheap ring terminals or like the cheap little connectors. You could probably do this a different way, but I'm like lazy and I always forget, and then I'll go to Walmart and get a bunch of these instead of like ordering nicer stuff on Amazon or going to like a nice electrical store. And then you can just cut these off and then get yourself a piece of shrink wrap and then just shrink wrap over it, and it just kind of makes it nicer. As well as this is legit from Walmart. It's just a small little butane torch. That way you don't have to get your heat gun out every single time you want to do some wiring. Just extremely simple, small stuff, but if you're looking to improve and you're just starting out, these are probably some decent tips. There it is, all finished. Here we are, more cleaning. This is the fan power wire. We're gonna loom it up and then heat shrink the ends, make it a little better. right, so it is a while later, and we went and did some stuff. Went and bought, you know, some baby stuff, did some running around, all that kind of stuff. Even earlier, I kind of just smashed my headlamp on, and I just went to town on wiring stuff. It would have just, if I would have videoed it, it would probably have been super boring. But the amount of video I already have, I'm assuming it's gonna be kind of a longer video anyways. I'm gonna pan through, show you everything, how it came out. I'm actually really proud of it. There's, of course, always things that I see that I wanna keep going and doing more of. But for today, hell of a run. And I think we also finished up the Tach install. I've still have yet to test it, but we're gonna test together some real shit. We'll see if we got the Tach working too. So let me flip around and show you what we got to. Cool, so don't know if you remember exactly what it looked like. I have like the flashlight on so you can see, but you know, got some shavings down there I need to clean up. But overall, I think it came out pretty good. I went ahead and put this Summit Racing loom everywhere that didn't already have loom. And then used like this 8L clamp and the spacer. Just kind of cleaned everything up as best as I could. The cool part is up here, I took the Volvo fan relay. I don't know if I already showed this. I might have. I had it like super ghetto hanging over here and like grounded to this, which actually doesn't need to be in here anymore. And then now it is just literally super clean. And I went through, depinned the stage 2 fan, or actually it would have been stage 1, sorry. So fan 1, which is like low speed, let's call it low speed, is disconnected completely. So that's just high speed. You could do both, but I don't know, whatever. That's just what my decision was. So we come down the fan, and then it goes to the other side, and then the ground comes down to the bottom. You can see it barely there. And then, you know, you got power going through. Kind of hard to show you. There we go. A nice little clamp. The power and the fan both run through that. So if you can see, the fan switch goes through there. Power goes back to the starter, and then the fan comes back up and around, and then underneath, and then through to the ECU. Then this is the stock, like the, for lack of a better word, like the BCM, like body control module, or like car power, is this nice wire coming up to the, you know, I think that's a relay. I don't know. Is that just a junction? I'm not great with electrical. Any rate, goes down here, and then it actually follows back around to like where the gen wire is. The generator, alternator really is what it is. Sorry, not a generator, but goes underneath this cross member. And I just tied it up to where I have that. I can actually show you that. Yeah, so there we go. There's our alternator wire, which I have spacered and then clamped to the engine block. And then I just zippy tied the wire in, and it goes down and then comes around, doop doop doop, around the side. And then that's the wire going all the way back to the back. We have the power wires all to the starter, looking fresh. Everything is way out of the way from the header, looking good. One other small thing I did here is I finally mounted this. This was never mounted, it was just back there. So I mounted this, the trans dipstick, and then I have the engine dipstick if you guys haven't seen them. They're the low car, expensive shits, but we did it. Looking pretty damn fresh in my opinion. From here, what I'd like to do, you know, I can't even like bask in like, oh, I did that. I'm like, okay, next. I want to get rid of these clamps. I think they look not great. I'd like to figure out something different for this intake tube, but worst case, I'd like to ram a hole in this rad support or something to get some fresh air into the car, because this thing gets super high IATs, and then it knocks down timing. So that's a pretty common thing on like the early 60s, 50s Chevy stuff that have like these kind of shitty engine compartments. They get really high IATs unless you do something. So we'll work on that. And then I think I already said I want to bend up a small piece of sheet metal, just super low key, that bends up, and then it'll just right here cut off, kind of cover that up, try to make it look like it came like this from the factory is my type of ideal goal. And then with that, I'd also like to get in here, clean up the stock wiring, and then depin a bunch of this stuff that's pretty much unnecessary. And yeah, Make it extra specially clean. Woo! Looking good. So there's that. You know, I think if you've been here a while, you saw the Pacer. Everybody loved that wiring job. I can do it. I can wire good, okay? It's just fun to do both. You don't have to be one person. So now I'm gonna hop underneath the dash really quick, show you the shotgun shell canister that is for the Tach. I hooked it up pretty easy, nothing crazy. I just took the voltmeter that I have, the Fluke, hit some of the blades, you know, off of the bulkhead connector, the electrical connector, looked for a key on hot, and then you know, obviously hot when running. Should be the same. That way we have Tach, and we should have Tach. It's basically just a signal, ground, and a power. So if I mess that up, then it's not good. So that is our tranny cooler wire going up to the block there, and then that's our shotgun shell right there. You can kind of see it. Yeah, there you go. And zippy tied it. Then we have that green wire is the signal wire, which goes to our black wire. It's the color I used to go back over to the ECU. Now there is our ground. Cleaned her all up and then rammed a self-tapper in. Garage doors open. Let's see what we got here. First of all, I need to hit the lights. Look at that. I need to get rid of this. Stand by. There it is. I know a couple of you are going to be pretty happy about that. All right, so that's gone. Looking fresh. Let's see if we got a Tach. So it actually went down. It was hung up at 2000, so it looks like we got some power to it. Let's fire her up. The brake lights are still giving me shit. I'm having problems with not problems, I just haven't sorted through yet. That one, like, the brake light's stuck on, and then I think I have a brake turn signal issue with that same left one, so whatever. Wiring and shit. Sounds good. So it looks like that's off. Maybe I have to adjust that or something. Interesting, because that was not $2,000. It might be about half right now or something, because it looks like it's idling at 500, which it don't idle at 500. All right, I'm gonna pull up the Shiftworks wiring diagram. I'm gonna assess this. We'll see if we can get it fixed, and then I can go inside for the night, edit this video for you finally. So basically, there's two loops on that shotgun shell, an orange and a brown. You have to cut one for it to work with an LS ECU PCM. It basically puts it into 6-cylinder mode on the Tach. I've had to do this before with other Tachs. I have to think about it. I don't really understand why, but I just remembered that, and I cut one of the loops and it works perfect. So like we were talking about, this is apparently my pointer stick. We have no battery, we have no oil pressure, we have no temp. We have fuel and we have RPM. We also have no speedometer, but nobody needs to know this shit. When the car is off sitting there and no one else is driving it, they're gonna be like, oh, look at how cool this Tach, you made all this work with your LS swap. And I'll be like, yeah, man,
Nope.
All right. I think that's enough. So I think that'll do it for today. We're gonna make the zip tie drags. I don't think that's gonna be an issue whatsoever. We got pretty far on this thing. We went ahead and moved the ECU. We got all that wiring cleaned up for the fan relays and for the engine relays. The dash is in with the Shiftworks Tach, all the new LED lights looking fresh. And the only thing we really missed wiring wise was the OBD2 port. We didn't do that, but that's okay. We'll leave that for another day. As of right now, it's running pretty good. So next thing, I think we'll get it up on some stands, start looking at making some subframe connectors. We're gonna make them from scratch. And then we're also going to get that converter swapped out. So that's kind of the two biggest things, and then wheels and tires. So those three things are the key items. Everything else is kind of extra. So look forward to that. If you guys are digging this, I'd appreciate if you subscribe. You know, let's hang out a little bit. Let's freaking do some more car stuff. 2020 is gonna be a big year. 2019, we did so much. We got really big as far as like doubling the channel in size. So let's do that again or more. I need to come up with some goals, but yeah. So if you guys are feeling it, and then also don't forget to like it, push the video out, helps me out a lot. And that's what we're here to do, is help each other. Hope you guys had a great weekend, had good holidays, and we'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.